I'm definitely part of the half that a lot of the times wishes social media did not exist, for sure. I've never been on Spotify and then been sad or overthought after, that's for sure. I mean, I definitely will go on Spotify to get inspired, whether it's, I'm a big podcast junkie.
Okay, we are here with Jess Levinsohn from Spotify, Rachel Lindsay, podcaster and media personality, and singer-songwriter Camila Cabello. Thank you, the three of you, for coming in today. So we are going to kick things off here with a quick game of this or that. Don't think too hard about it. Jess, corner office or work from home?
Work from home.
Okay. Rachel, delegate or do it yourself?
Do it myself.
Camila, email or text?
Text.
Jess, whiteboard or mood board?
Whiteboard.
Okay. Camila, singing or acting?
Singing.
Yeah. And Rachel, podcasting or TV?
Podcasting.
All right, then. We are where we need to be. So let's just kick things off here. What do you love about the work you do now? What do you love about your job? Camila, why don't you start there?
I think I'm loving just being a student and having a lot of input, especially now after I've kind of spent a year working on CXOXO. It's fun to just start reading again, start listening to different albums every day, start reading and just ingesting different forms of art, because I feel like that's the way I kind of recharge after kind of giving a lot of output. So yeah, just being a student again.
You're going to listen to Rachel's podcast, right?
Hell yeah,
I hope so.
Absolutely, yeah.
Rachel, what's the thing you love about what you do?
We were just talking about this. I love the freedom in what I get to do with podcasting. For me, it was, I went from being a lawyer and then TV, and I thought that was all I wanted to do. And then I discovered podcasting and just building this community and having these relaxed conversations and being able to talk about anything that I'm going through or what's happening in the world and having people respond to that has just been really beautiful and selfishly healing. So I definitely, the freedom in what I do.
And your podcast, it's called Higher Learning with Van Lathan. Mm-hmm. What does the name of the show mean, or what's that meant to suggest?
Well, the thought behind it was that we were going to have these think of family reunion or just coming home for Christmas or whatever holiday, and you're sitting there having conversations about anything with your family, and it's relaxed, and we're talking about no subjects left off the table. That's kind of what we wanted to bring to the table, this family aspect, but at a higher level, where we're having bigger level conversations about politics and current affairs, but then also whatever's going viral on social media or what the people are talking about.
Sounds great. And then Jess, at Spotify, what do you do at Spotify? What do you love about it?
Yes. I love working at Spotify. People feel so passionately about Spotify. It's the only app that people call my Spotify, they're possessive about it, and that's because they have an intimate relationship with creators like these amazing ladies, and they, were with them at their wedding, at these pivotal moments during their first love, their first heartbreak. It's so personal, and people have that connection with it. And my job is to translate that love of Spotify to brands. And so talking to brands about how they can activate on the platform and surround the amazing content that these amazing women are putting on the platform.
Spotify Wrap, that's a bona fide cultural moment.
Yeah.
So the connective tissue, obviously, the two of you are on Spotify, and you rep Spotify. So what are you talking about here during advertising week? What's the topics of conversation?
I can take that. I think advertising week in general, it's such a key time to get in front of brands as they're planning for the year ahead, and thinking about which media partners to prioritize. And we can tell brands about the amazing power of our platform, but bringing Camila and bringing Rachel to the stage and being able to show them, the amazing creators that we have on our platform and how they're really driving culture and creating honest connections with their fans on our platform, it's just that much more impactful to remind people that, if Spotify is essential for fans, then it should be essential for brands too.
How do you think about Spotify in terms of reaching your fans, using it as a vehicle for that?
I mean, it was interesting to hear you say that about Spotify, how it's so personal, because, I mean, obviously I could answer the question as a creator, but also it's like Spotify is so personal to me as just like a music lover. Like that is how, I discover music. I spend like probably 2 hours every day on Spotify. When we were talking about input and recharging, like I'm like excited to see my Spotify Wrapped. So I also like love it as a consumer, and but I think as a creator, like I think that the way that they kind of innovate in terms of like my fans, for example, like the playlist that you guys do, for example, like where they you guys have like it's based on different emotions, for example, like for when you're feeling sad, when you're feeling emo, like the Femme Fatale playlist. I just did a photo shoot yesterday, and I like looked like the mood was kind of Femme Fatale, and I literally discovered a few new songs on there that I didn't know before. And I see, for example, some of my songs on some playlists that are based on mood or themes in people's lives, and I know that's how a lot of my songs like reach new fans that maybe wouldn't know my music before. Just like kind of exploring music. So it's really important to me, and kind of reaching new people.
Rachel, to me it seems like Spotify is new to podcasting, but it's been more than 4 years already. What does that mean of being on this massive platform? More than 600 million people worldwide can access your. Do you think of that when you sit down to record the podcast?
I'm so glad you said you think of it, because no. And now I'm thinking of it when you say that. And I'm glad that I don't go into it with that. It really is a comfortable, relaxed space. And I think that's the atmosphere that we create and the energy that's between me and my co-host Van. And that's what people come to get every single time. We feel like family to them. But I love that we've been doing our podcast for a little over 4 years now, and we were one of the first to have the video element with our podcast, and that's been amazing because they don't just get to hear us, they get to watch us, and I'm extremely animated, if you can't tell. And so the fact that our listeners get to see that at the same time, and it adds another element when they're commenting on it and they're saying, oh, I saw this, or oh, make sure you watch the video to be able to see this. It's just really been beautiful how it's all come together. And
so you're still in TV, sort of?
I guess so, but I certainly don't dress like it. I was just saying, sweats, no makeup.
That's better.
It's comfortable.
So, Jess, when you talk about helping brands engage with artists, creators like these two folks, what does that mean? Are there examples of how you can team a brand up with artists and podcasters?
Yeah, I mean, to begin with, like we want fans to be able to access the content and the playlists and the creators that they want without getting in their way. So first and foremost, like the ad experience is super non-interruptive on Spotify. But then again, like 71% of Gen Z are telling us that they view Spotify as the antidote to doom scrolling. Oh. Not me with the stats, but
I love a stat.
But it's when you think about how what a positive space that is. That's such an amazing opportunity for brands. Not knocking social media platforms, but the New York Times just put out something that half of Gen Zs wish that social media platforms didn't exist. And so in contrast, Spotify is this positive space where people are, streaming and getting inspired by shows like Higher Learning and streaming the artists that they love.
What, do you guys agree with that sentiment, especially with, younger audiences?
I'm definitely part of the half that a lot of the times wishes social media did not exist, for sure. I've never been on Spotify and then been sad or overthought after, that's for sure. I mean, I definitely will go on Spotify to get inspired, whether it's, I'm like a big podcast junkie. So that's one of my sources of inspiration, or music. Yeah. Or even just white noise to go to sleep,
Yeah. Rachel,
Rain.
You do mix it up. I mean, you get into some controversial topics. Is there you take the good with the bad in terms of the feedback from the audience?
I love constructive criticism. I think that it makes you better, and I think it makes you stronger. Not that I'm one of those people who reads the comments. I don't do that. But I think it's important to know what your audience feels about the things that you're saying. And we do get into controversial topics, and not everyone agrees. And I think that some of that is the beauty of what we do. We're not afraid to approach any topic or tackle it. And I like that our audience holds us accountable. So yeah, I think that there's a balance between that of listening to what they want and then implementing that into our podcast.
Okay. What's next from Spotify other than the Unwrapped is coming up, or Spotify Wrapped, sorry, coming up at the end of the year. You're constantly looking for new ways to help creators and artists tell their message.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, and you touched on this earlier, is that Gen Zs in particular, they're looking to have a deeper connection with their artists. And so innovating with more visual formats, like back in the day, you used to get a CD and look at all of the cover art. And now with Canvas, with video podcasts, there's just more visual interaction. People are spending more time with their phone in focus on Spotify. And so ultimately, all of this just allows them to get deeper with the artists that they love. We're also doing more live events. We know that Gen Z want to connect in real life as well, and ticket prices can be really expensive. So branded events, like brands throwing concerts or live podcasts, is a huge area of focus.
Camila, have you done live shows like that?
No, not yet. But yeah, we were talking about it earlier, and I definitely feel like there's Spotify being such a huge platform. I think bringing kind of in-person album installations to fans would be so fun. I mean, you guys have done that before. But yeah, I feel like it's music lovers are such a passionate community. And when people get to just gather in person, and now there's so many new ways to do it. It doesn't have to be a standard concert. It could be, I don't know, a small acoustic set, or it could be I remember, I think you guys did this with Doja Cat, when she did the Spotify in person for, I think it was, I don't remember, but I think you guys did a live album installation, and I was like, whoa, that's so sick. So I think, yeah, creative ways for people to partner to bring a unique experience, a 2024 experience to fans is so exciting and fun.
Yeah, Spotify, to be sure, it's an audio platform, but you have made a lot of steps to bring that visual element and letting artists create these mini loops for songs and put it on your actual page. Is that, Camila, are you looking to do more of that kind of thing? What's next for you?
I mean, I think it's important to always just move into the new and not just be kind of holding on to the past. I think that's important. In a rapidly changing world, and especially as creators and artists, there's always a tendency, especially as you get older, to be why is this changing and blah blah blah. And sometimes I find that in myself a little bit, but I think it's important to be aware of that voice and instead be oh wow, look at this rapidly innovative and technologically adaptive world, and how can I move with it and be a part of it, as opposed to sulk and kind of get left behind. And I think you guys have been so great about that. And we were talking about the DJ thing, and moving into tech. So yeah, I'm excited to just kind of I don't know, be an artist that's a part of that. And what's next for me is hopefully just more music and more. I just want to be a part of just all the exciting new stuff and a part of this world that is rapidly changing. And sometimes that can be destabilizing, the doom scrolling, and technology can definitely can be hurtful, but it can also be really wonderful and bring people together. So hopefully I can be a part of the wave of it bringing people together and making people feel joyful and connected.
Yeah, technology can't have that double-edged sword.
Yeah, totally.
The AI, so you mentioned the DJ, which is this AI-powered.
Yes.
Automated
That's what I
voice.
meant by tech, yeah.
It's kind of cool. It's maybe a little creepy. What do
I
you
like
think?
it.
Yeah. You think it's fun and I mean it's a very upbeat use of AI as far as that
Yeah,
goes.
if we're going to use AI, this is the way that I want to see it be done. right? Like where you're capturing what I like to listen to or my mood or different things like that. That's what I want, not in another way.
Yeah, no, totally. I like it. I feel like he's spot on. And then sometimes I'm like, whoa, I forgot that I love this song.
Yeah.
So it's like a way that I feel like the algorithm is like smart and like connects me back to joy that I might have forgot, you know, because I don't have time to be like, what's that song I loved 4 years ago, you know? So I think that's part of, that's like an example of, I feel like, technology being used in like a way that contributes like more joy and it being innovative.
For me, it's embarrassing. It's like 3 years ago, you had this song on heavy repeat. I was like, oh no. Rachel, what's next for you with the podcast and any other projects you have?
Well, for me, I'm in like a new season. And so what I've loved about doing the podcast is it's something that I'm passionate about, which is when Bill Simmons came to me at first, he said, don't you want to do something you're proud of and you're passionate about? And I was kind of like, wait, I thought I was doing that, but maybe not. And he was right. Like, this has opened up a whole new world for me. And what I love about Spotify, and we talked about this earlier today, is this community that it creates or has the ability to create. And now that I'm divorcing, and that is a big congratulations.
Congrats.
Thank you so much. I want to create a community. Like I see out there's not a lot about divorced women who are in their 30s and still want children and have never used apps and don't really know how to navigate all this. They're running on an old system, maybe not what this new system is. And I want to create a space where these women or men can come together and create a community where they realize they're not alone, or, you know, like they can laugh at themselves. They don't have to be embarrassed or ashamed or whatever it may be, or maybe find one another. So that's kind of something that I want to create in space, and maybe do that with Spotify, who knows? But yeah, who knows what's next? Love, freedom,
All of it.
I love that.
fun,
All of it.
independence.
Yeah, like the internet, there's toxic stuff about it, but then there's, you know, stuff that brings everybody together.
Yeah.
And I guess, you know, Jess, for you, what should we look for next in terms of trends, business trends, marketing capabilities?
We talked about the visual formats. So
Yeah.
that's a big one. We talked about events. I think generally, like, everyone's just trying to like chase Gen Z and be on top of cultural trends. And got a plug, we just launched a new Culture Next report that has a ton of amazing insights about how Gen Zs are streaming. But yeah, I think we covered those two things.
And Gen Z is not giving up on music, right? Or
No.
I think the opposite. It's
Opposite.
like music is just a part of every second of every day.
more accessible than ever. And
Yeah.
very exciting. Well, thank you, the three of you. Great conversation. Thanks.
Thank you.